it looks like we are here, according to everything that's supposed to be working. So, assuming, yep, came up. So, haha, Hel- hello
It
and
is.
whoop whoop. All right. Hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written Melanin channel. Wherever this day may have found you, I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea, better known as CM Lockhart, and I am here with the one, the only Audra Russell, and we are here to bring some melanin to your pages, and we are back. Wow.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
It has. It's been crazy, but it's been good. It's been good. We needed the break. We needed the rest. And we are here, and y'all know, as always, I'm be like tinkering over here because I'm trying to figure out, make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to be working. And if it's not, I'll get it worked out. Sorry. Anyway. Benjamin is here. Ash Rice Lots is here. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome.
Ash, what's up, girl?
Oh, that did something. It was, yep. Okay. Let me stop clicking stuff. Cause oh no, just messed up some things. It's cool. It's cool. All right, that's where it's supposed to.
What did you do? It's like I can't even see anything.
I
on
know.
YouTube.
I moved the background to the wrong spot. I'm sorry. I messed up. I was clicking and clacking, and it did some things. So I apologize. But yes, okay.
All right, now we good.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop clicking stuff, and we're just gonna do this.
Stop doing that.
Because it looks kind of weird on my end, but I think it looks fine.
It does, because I'm trying. I'm. If you see me looking around, I'm looking at the actual YouTube video and then the Twitch one. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's like glitching out on my end, so it looks completely wonky, like everything is out of aspect ratio and kind of all over the screen. So I'm kind of like, what's happening? But if it looks good, I ain't gonna mess with it. So
yep, it looks good.
Anyway, Luthausen made it. Hello, welcome. And you guys, it feels so good to be back. We're in 2022 now. And if you've never been a part of the Melanin Chat, first of all, hello, welcome. Glad you could make it for the first one. And we are here to add some melanin to your pages. That's what I say. But yeah, my mind is all over the place today, you guys. It's been a long day. A long day. But it is good to be here. So thank you guys for being patient with us as we recuperated at the end of 2021 and are now in 2022. So let's talk about some of the things that are a little different. A little different this year.
A little different. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So as you guys can see, there's a slightly different look to the Melanin Chat. I will probably continue to tweak it from week to week. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Yes. We're also dual streaming for the first time. So if you guys have been hanging out on the writing sprints, you'll also know that we're not only on YouTube now, we're also on Twitch. So it's kind of cool.
It always makes me want to Twitch.
Yeah, so. And we've got a lot to get into, but before we get into all of the chitting and the chatting and get distracted, let's kick y'all off with our book selections for the week. And since Audra, her selection comes from someone on her podcast, I'm gonna let her go first.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I forgot we do the reading of the thing. Okay, so my books are, I'm actually reading both in the series. Hollywood Homicide is the first one. It's by Kelly Garrett. She's a crime fiction writer, and she's pretty much won every award that you could win for crime writing.
Ooh.
And she is traditionally published, but then she just republished both of these books as, and she is coming on my show on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me scroll and find her the description. Oh, and of course it's not going to come up.
Okay, so
yeah.
I'll tell you guys about my sister, the serial killer, while Audra finds.
Please. Why? I forgot that. See, I the groove of things. Okay, wait. No, I think I found it. Hang on.
Okay.
I think yes. Okay. Woo. Actress Dana Anderson's deadly new role, private detective. Dana Anderson doesn't set out to solve a murder. All the semi-famous mega-broke actress wants is to help her parents keep their house. So after witnessing a deadly hit and run, she pursues the 15 grand reward. Dana soon finds herself doing a full-on investigation, wanting more than just money. She wants justice for the victim. She chases down leads at paparazzi hotspots, celeb homes, and movie premieres, loving every second of it until someone tries to kill her, and there are no second takes in real life. And I'm loving it so far. I'm about a quarter of the way through the first one, and it's not just like serious, it's like funny, and
Oh, that's good.
she has me cracking up. It's a really good book so far.
Okay, because I had seen that a couple of times, especially because I think her book was one of the first ones that we added on the Melanin Library when we were first putting it together before it ever even launched. Is so when you were like, oh, you're having a show, I was like, oh, that's cool. I actually have seen this book. I haven't read it. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't read it, but it looks really interesting. So if you're vouching for it and it's actually kind of funny, that sounds like something that is right up my alley. And I also realized, you guys, that I have kind of failed because I realized that I didn't actually tweet this out that we were live. So
oh well, there you go.
So if you see me clicking around, that's what I'm doing to let people know, since we've been on break for like a couple months. But yeah,
we getting back into the swing of things, you know.
We are. So let me just drop this link on Twitter. And there we go. So, my book is My Sister the Serial Killer, and I actually just finished reading this book this past weekend. I picked it up kind of on a whim when we went to a Barnes & Noble, and I was just like, this sounds like it could be interesting, right? And I had seen a couple of people talk about it, but nobody was doing like deep in-depth reviews of it, and so I was just like, maybe it's good, maybe it's not, maybe it's just one of those like you pick up and you like it and then no one ever talks about it ever again. I don't know. But I picked it up, I loved it, but onto the description. Coraday's sister Ayula is many things: the favorite child, the beautiful one, possibly sociopathic, and now Ayula's third boyfriend in a row is dead, stabbed through the heart with Ayula's knife. Coraday's practicality is the sister's saving grace. She knows the best solutions for cleaning blood: bleach, bleach, and more bleach. The best way to move a body: wrap it in sheets like a mummy. And she keeps Ayula from posting pictures to Instagram when she should be mourning her quote-unquote missing boyfriend. Not that she gets any credit. Corday has long been in love with a kind, handsome doctor at the hospital where she works. She dreams of the day when he will realize that she's exactly what he needs. But when he asks Corday for Ayula's phone number, she must reckon with what her sister has become and how far she's willing to go to protect her. And, buddy, I was not ready. Like, it was so much, but it also wasn't enough. And then it was like, oh, snap. And then it was just like, see, should listen to your sister. Ayula was right. Think you know everything. And it was just like, but then when Ayula was like, so make a choice. It was like, oh, okay. And then secrets, just, oh, okay. Guess you weren't talking to a dead man, were you? All right. It was just a lot happening. And it was really fast paced, and this was the first book in a long while where I picked it up, and it was like, you know me, I read a lot of YA, I read a lot of fantasy, so this was neither, and I wasn't expecting to be into it as much as I was, but from the first page, when she was like, see, this is the problem with folks. They think bleach cleans everything, and it's not. It's just a disinfectant. If you clean blood with bleach, you're just gonna be smearing it around. And she's just like, these ignorant folk, they don't know how to clean nothing. And it just makes,
you know, all you need is one of them blue lights, and you'll see what's left behind.
Yeah, And so she was like, you got to clean it proper. Like, all bleach does is get rid of the smell. And this is like on the first page. And I was just like, well, then. All right.
Yeah, that's how I was like, oh, okay. When I started reading it, I just kind of inhaled it in one sitting.
Same. Yeah. I started it. I read the first page just to see if I would be interested in it. But then once I actually sat down and got into it, I was like running through it. I finished it in a day, which I haven't done in a really long time. So anyway, if you guys are interested in my thoughts, I did restart the podcast, so I will be sharing my thoughts on My Sister's a Serial Killer on the podcast. So I feel like we should get to the part of the show where we're telling you guys what has actually changed between the last Melanin Chat, which also, if you did watch the last Melanin Chat, I apologize. That was supposed to be like, oh, we're rebranding. We'll be back next week. And then it turned into, we're going to take a break and we'll be back in the new year. So, apologies.
Things happen. Creators, we get burnout. Sometimes we just got to take a step back.
And can we talk about the end of 2021 for a little bit? Because it was a little...
First of all, they took Betty White, so 17 days before her birthday, her 100th birthday, so,
that one hurt, not even gonna lie.
Okay, then 2022 came in and took Sidney Poitier and then Bob Saget. So,
Bob Saget was the one that got me because I was like, I watched so much Full House, and I watched America's Funniest Home Videos, and then I found out that he was not actually a very savory person, and then I was like, oh, all right. But that one was just like, wow, okay, Danny Tanner is gone. That's kind of crazy. So I guess we will not be getting that Full House reunion since the Olsen twins didn't show up for Fuller House. Now we can't. So, anyway, sad things. Not going to dwell on that. It's just 2021 was kind of a wreck in a lot of ways. But as far as us and what was going on our end, I can't speak for Audra, right? But I know for me, I was getting like mentally exhausted. I was just like, I need a break. And you guys know that I put out LaCase's book last year. But then I was like, I gotta write my own book, right? Baby doll, I did not have the bandwidth to do anything except lay on that couch back there and stare at the ceiling for like 2 days. And I was just like, rest. This is what this feels like. So, after I got some rest, as you guys know, if you've been on the channel, I got back to actually writing regularly. I am about 15,000 words from finishing my next book. And after that, we'll see where things go. We're back to doing the Melanin Chat. The podcast has returned. The Written Melanin website has gotten a facelift. The Melanin Library is next. And I'm really excited about all the things that are coming in 2022. It's going to be great. And also, we are not ignoring the chat, you guys. So, shout out to Lisa G, who is also here. And Uthaza said, I need to read the book before you do the podcast. I wonder if it's on audiobook. I'm lying when I say physically read, I mean listen to. I understand. I'm pretty sure it does have an audiobook. I want to say Amanda said that she had the audiobook and listened to it. Or was it you, Audra?
I don't do audiobooks. That wasn't.
You know what? You don't do audiobooks. I know your truth.
We had this discussion.
I know your truth. So it had to have been Amanda. I'm pretty sure there's an audiobook for it.
I was going to say, we had this discussion a few days ago. You know what the deal is.
I do. I'm not trying to out you, I swear. And Lisa G, that is, I will call it high irony. She said, love the books. My partner squashed a bug with my copy of Hollywood Homicide. Don't know if that's a good or a bad omen. I would say it's irony at its finest.
Yeah. I would say it's the book living in its purpose.
I'm dead. Okay. And Luthaza said 2022 took James Matume of Juicy Fruit. Is that how you say his name?
James Matume. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that hurt.
I mean,
because that song was my song. I mean, that song, it was a very sexual song, but you didn't know it, you know. And
It wasn't my generation, so.
yeah, listen, shut the hell up, okay? We're not gonna talk about how old you are.
I'm not trying to be rude. I was just.
The fact that you and my oldest child are the same age on the same damn birthday.
I mean.
No. But yeah, Juicy Fruit was a song that was out. That's my generation back when songs were about sex and you didn't realize they were about sex. And so the song is like, I can't think of the lyrics right now. But basically, my naive ass, I thought that Juicy Fruit was talking about the gum.
Yep. I mean, it's like when they were singing, "My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard." It's like, oh, okay, she's got some amazing milkshakes. Let's go to Sonic.
How about I was a grown woman when I heard that, and I was like, oh, milkshakes, hey. And my daughter, who was in elementary school, was like, Mommy,
nah.
Realize they're singing about bad things, right? Well, first of all, how do you know what they're singing about?
Elementary school is wild.
Yeah.
You learn a lot of things.
I hear things. Yeah, she was like, I hear things, Mommy. I listened. I was like, so it's not about milkshakes? And she did one of these. No. Okay, little girl.
Honestly, I feel her because that's how my parents were. They were like, how you know? I'm like, y'all, I go to school with other people, and other people are wild, okay? Like, I done heard a lot of things. They don't pay attention to you when you quiet and keep to yourself. I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't finna say nothing. I'm just sitting here minding my little business at this little lunch table with this little dry-ass pizza. But I'm listening. Wow, okay. That's what that's about, okay. I mean, it looks like they didn't even have a color printer when they printed it out, okay? It's not good pizza. It's just cardboard with lackluster sauce, okay? They give you 2 sprinkles of cheese, if that. When I tell you, when I was so happy when I got to high school and I did not have to eat cafeteria lunch no more, baby doll, I was like, yes! I was like, we got people with cars. I don't care. Somebody bring me something edible. No.
We going off campus for a minute. We be back.
Yes.
Hello,
Okay.
YS Books has come in. Saw the link on Twitter. Welcome.
Welcome to welcome to the chat. And also Benjamin, you guys, Benjamin's a wonderful husband. He's actually not in the house at this current moment, but he's still watching the chat from wherever he's at, running errands.
His heart.
And he's like, I say nothing, but hear everything. Yep. That's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much what it is. But yeah, so. Oh, okay. There was something else that I wanted to tell you guys, and I should have wrote it down. Today has been a wild day. After chat and Discord server. So there have been some updates, and if you're a part of the Patreon, you already know about most of these. You should. Yes, unless you don't read the post. If you don't read the post, I can't do anything about that. But anyway, there is now a Discord server for the after chat, you guys. So if you didn't know I was married, really? Yeah, today actually makes 10 years that we've been together. We started dating in 2012 when I graduated high school. I didn't complicate it, but yes, we have been together for 10 years. We've been married for 7, or it'll be 7 in February. So.
Okay, linear thoughts, Chelsea.
Oh, thank you. Linear thoughts. Discord server. If you guys want to hang out with us, me and Audra, we are the After Chat Discord server is for our Patreon supporters so that y'all can hang out with us. And, whenever I have been kind of uploading subtly some of the Twitter drama that I have been stumbling across. So definitely going to be talking about some of that in its depth. But yeah, if you guys want to join, the Patreon does support the thank you. Patreon supports the Melanin Library, so all the money for that goes to making sure that it continues to be a resource in the world. And also, Antoine Bandelli is here. Hello, how are you doing?
Antoine,
welcome.
What's up, baby?
So, also slight plug. Please go read Antoine's book. I say that every time he pops up in the chat, and also when he's not here. TJ Young and the Orisha. I I love that book. Go read it. The second one is also coming out soon. So, yeah.
Antoine, listen, bought your book. My son stole it. It's upstairs. So, that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because he was like, you have Antoine's book? And I was like, yes. And he was like, I'm just going to take it. I was like, only because you're my son am I letting you do this. So, it's got it, but I'm going to read it.
Your book is well loved by everyone that I introduce it to. But, yeah. My brain is everywhere, y'all. I don't know.
Last thing the Melanin Chat is something you were saying about it.
Oh, yes. Melanin Chat, after chat, join the Patreon. There's a little ticker tape down at the bottom. That's pretty much the whole thing. Click the link. There should be one in the description box. I am not going to try to continue to tell you about it because I have failed like 4 times now. So, I'm going to leave that in its deadness.
You're funny.
So, that being said, let's talk about some of the things that have been happening since we have been gone, because there has been a lot, y'all. Like, the craziness that people have been up to. There has been so much that I have wanted to talk to y'all about, or just talk about on the chat. There was, okay, I don't even know where to start. Where do we start, Audra?
Where do we start with what?
Okay. So, while we were gone, if y'all see me looking over here, it's because I have a notebook and OneNote to keep up with some of the most interesting things that happened while we were taking a break from the Melanin Chat. And 2 of the ones that I definitely want to talk about. I don't know if y'all remember this, but in 2021, there were a group of 3 white women from Kansas? Somewhere in the Midwest. And they thought it would be a brilliant idea to start putting ratings on young adult books. And the ratings were like mild, so like there's just like light romance, like maybe there's a kiss or something like that, and then it goes up to like, let's just say spicy, right? I don't even remember what the actual ones were, but they wanted to rate it so like if they're talking about anything like sexuality, or if they're talking about, you know, there's parties or anything like that involved, then it gets a more mature rating, so that under the guise of parents monitoring what their kids are reading. And so why am I looking at the chat and getting distracted? And so I just wanted to know what y'all thought about that. Like, how do y'all feel about people wanting to put ratings on books about whether or not they're savory enough for their children or not, especially when it's already in the young adult genre? So we're not talking about like indie books or things that your kids just randomly pick up. We're talking about young adults, so like somewhere between 13 and 18, and putting a label on it so that your parental unit, your guardian, can know if you're reading a book that has mouth light kissing in it in order to protect you from it.
Is it just for mild to light kissing, or is it for...
It was for everything. So like if there's like parties or reference to drugs and smoking, or if the main character actually took part in it, but then also things like LGBTQ and sexuality, and, you know, questioning that, as well as like religion and like questioning that, like all of that would have fallen into the more mature genres. And so they reached out to a bunch of authors and a bunch of publishing companies, and they were like, hey, will you please, you know, adhere to our rating and put our little sticker on your book to let people know? And the authors collectively were like, baby doll, you done lost your mind, get out of my emails. And they just put them on blast to the point where all of 3 of them had to shut down their website and their personal social media accounts. But I was just wondering what y'all thought about that.
As a parent,
yes,
I think I want to know. I don't want it banned or anything, but maybe just like video games have E and T. I think I might want to know that. Even though I'm no fool, even though my kids were they went to elementary school, but then they were homeschooled from like junior high on. But they still had friends. They still went out. They still were involved in a lot of things. They had friends. And their friends are doing things, talking about things. So I'm no fool. I know my kids know about stuff. Plus, they have the internet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think I might want to know just so that I can say, okay, let's talk about that. Because
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of sheltering your kids from anything because it does a huge disservice to them when they step out into the real world and then they don't know how to maneuver. But I am a fan of knowing so that it creates the door for discussion to talk about things.
And see, I guess that's kind of where I was on the fence about it because obviously I don't have kids, right? So my perspective comes from being the child in the scenario, I guess, or putting myself in that position. But I was just kind of thinking, like, the like Antoine said, rated T for teen. Books aren't rated like that. But then at the same time, they are because it's literally the young adult genre. It's literally books written for them, targeted to them. So to be, and that's why I say traditionally published and not indie published, because when you're indie and self published, you can kind of put your book in whatever genre you think it would fit best. But when you're traditionally published, there's a system. There are a lot of hands and eyes and people that it has to go through. And so saying it is young adult is already putting a censorship rating on it to a certain extent. Like, it's probably not for a 5 or 6 year old, probably not even for an 8 year old who's got a higher reading level. But at the same time, if you choose to give a young adult book that's marketed primarily to, let's just say 16, because that's the middle of that range, to 16-year-olds to an 8 year old, that's, kind of on you as a parent. And I feel like the young adult genre as a whole already has so much that's expected from it, if that makes sense. Like, that for the most part, the main character is going to be a teenager. For the most part, that I can't, okay, I say this with a caveat from what I have read, right? That their parents are very usually lightly involved, if involved at all, because they're usually going on an adventure or whatever. It's usually not very parentally focused, right? It's about the kid and their life and what they're going to and their experience, whatever that experience is. So I kind of felt like putting a tag on it was like, I just saw it turning into a big thing for censorship, being like, oh no, like this book has LGBTQ representation in it, so I'm not going to let my kid read it because I don't want this book to turn my kid gay. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not for that. I'm not for it for censor purposes. I guess I'd have to. I don't know. I'd have to feel it out because I would want it for good reasons so that I know what my kids are reading so that we can talk and they have questions and yeah they can talk to their friends, but also so that we can talk to them as parents. But I can see a certain sect of society taking that and running with it and then just banning things because of it. So I don't know. It's
It's
theoretical form. It's good, but I can see it quickly just spinning out of
control. And
out of control.
And I guess that's the thing, because there are parents like you who just want to know. And my mom would have been that parent where it's just like, I don't think she would have tried to keep me from it. It would have been like, I just want to know what you're reading, because even when I was a kid reading books, a lot of times she would read the same books that she bought me, so it's just kind of like that awareness is definitely important. But then at the same time, oh, sorry, let me click show for that. But at the same time, it's kind of like there are a lot of people out there who would abuse that. Like, they're already abusing it with critical race theory and saying that every book written by a black author is suddenly a book about critical race theory and it should be banned from schools. I don't know if you guys saw that, because that's another whole discussion about there was a school, I don't remember where, but I want to say it was northeastern. It was a very white population, I will say that. And basically all the parents got together and they were like, we need to remove all the books about critical race theory. And so what that looked like was removing every book that was written by or about a person of color. And the children were protested and did a strike at their school, or protested at their school. These are literal, like, it was an elementary school. The oldest child was in 5th grade. Okay? And they're like, we're not going to school until y'all fix this. And it's just like, imagine that. Imagine the babies understanding more so than you that what you're doing is wrong. And this is after 20, the whole push in 2020. Like, ooh, we all need to read Black authors. We all need to be reading diversely. We all need to do this. And so you've bought all these books just to ban them within like the next 6 months. That's insane to me. But yeah. It's just wild.
Yeah. There's no black or white with that kind of an issue, because like I said, you have certain people that will just take that and run with it, and even though it's meant the way it's meant to be used is not the way it would be used. So
it's just it's wild that people would I think it's wild that people would be like, let's just make sure that this child never sees anything outside of themselves, because that is what's best for them.
Yeah, but then you're, like I said, then you're doing a disservice, because sheltering your child never turns out well. My parents sheltered me, not to an extreme. I still went out, I still had friends, but I had curfew and, and there were certain songs like Prince's Rain album, Darling Nikki. My dad was like, cut that one out, But I remember I was singing all about masturbation, didn't even know what it was, and my dad was like, oh, whoa, you can listen to everything but that song. And see, I grew up in the 80s, so it was a cassette tape, so I had to fast forward past that song, hit stop, say, okay, nope, Darling Nikki's still playing, stop, fast forward, play. It wasn't like you could, CD and all that. But, I said that to say that even though I wasn't extremely sheltered, did me a disservice when I went away to school, because I did my first 2 years at community college. So when I went away, there was things I had to learn. It wasn't tragic for me, because like I said, my brother was a rebel, so I would learn stuff from him. But for kids that are extremely sheltered, it's a disservice, because then they get out in the world and they don't know how to maneuver, don't know how to interact with people, they don't have the judgment skills that they need to know when they're in a bad situation and how to get themselves out of a bad situation, that kind of thing. So I just, I don't know, sheltering kids, doing it to keep kids from it is not something I agree with.
Agreed. I mean, I think there's a difference between fostering a safe space in your home and sheltering your child to the point of detriment. Those are two vastly different things.
Completely different. Yep.
But jump into the comments really quick. Shout out to Ashley G. She said that she is not here for long. Just here for the watch and the like. Schedule blew up on me this afternoon. Fully understand. Portia Dion is here. Hello, welcome. I saw you say hi earlier, but I didn't get a chance to say anything. So hi, Portia, welcome. And she said, I get what they're trying to do, but I can see why authors felt like that group had all the wrong audacity. Like, who made them the authority? Yeah, white privilege is what they feel made them the authority per usual. Yeah. Antoine said it also helps to know what your child is reading so you can reflect and discuss the storylines, especially when it's socially challenging. And I do think that's important, but I don't know. I think there's this idea that's kind of wild, kind of crazy, of just like reading the book that your child is also reading. Like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes that is overlooked, and I know that it's not always possible, but I know when I was a teacher, it's like that's something that was just like expected of us, that we would just read the book first before we gave it to a room full of second graders to read the book. And I know that changes as the books get longer and kids get older, but I also feel like that's just a certain level of personal responsibility. Like, if you want to engage with someone about something, whether it be a child or another human being, period, that means that you have to put in a certain level of work to make sure that you are knowledgeable about the topic or the subject that they want to talk about. And that sometimes requires you to read a 300-page book. So especially if you know it's socially challenging. Like, if you're going to read the, The Angel of Greenwood, or if you're going to read Skin of the Sea, or if you're going to read Bloodland by Audra Russell, you should pick that up. Or if you're going to read any of these books, or The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, if you're going to read any of these books that you know have topics in it that need to be discussed, read the book. I don't know.
It's just like you listen to the music your kids listen to. Well, at least I do. I was always on the stations that my kids listen to because I need to know what they're listening to, because I need to let them know that, yeah, okay, you know, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B and all, they out there, you can listen to it all you want, but understand what they're saying and understand that that's not the type of behavior that you need to be exhibiting out there in the streets. We're not going to act like no thoughts. And the same thing with with books. My daughter was into the Twilight series in late elementary school, like 5th grade. I was just like, okay, I'm reading through this thing, and there's like sex scenes and stuff, and I'm like,
in Twilight?
I thought there were. Like, wasn't there, like,
Nah.
I know there was like kissing or something. I just remember that there was some scenes in there that I don't feel like they were for her,
Maybe, but like if she was really, really young, because like the whole the whole premise of Twilight is literally he won't touch her because if he does, he's gonna kill her because he's a vampire. He's gonna eat her. So he literally tries to not touch her.
I just remember having like skimming through, like, okay,
I mean,
making sure it was, you know, but
yeah, the last book was kind of creepy, but other than that, the first three were skinship okay.
Okay. I just remember there was something about it that concerned me to the point where I had to, like, I, you know, skimmed it and read through and talked to her about it. Like, tell me what you reading in there. So, you know.
Bella's crazy and Edward is sociopathic. I mean, there's that. That's probably what she picked up on as an adult.
Maybe.
Like breaking into your house to watch your daughter sleep. That's not cute. It's not cute.
You know. You know, that's part of being a parent. You listen to the things your kids listen to on the radio. You read what they read. You keep a pulse on what's generally going on in their lives so that, you know, you can kind of steer them into different directions, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe, yes. Luthasa said the language was sensual. I think that's what it was. It's like, okay. And my daughter was, I think, in 4th or 5th grade, maybe. So I was like, that's a little,
Oh, no. Okay. If she was in, like, the 4th or 5th
Friends
grade.
Were all reading it.
Then, yeah, I can see that. I didn't read it until I was 6. It was 7th grade. It was 7th grade because Morgan was reading it, and I didn't like Morgan, but Morgan said it was a good book, and she was the only other black girl in my class, and she was like, oh, my God, Chelsea, you should read this. And I was like, okay. So I read it, and it was good. I remember she was a black girl. She was light skinned, and she was friends with all the white girls who were really mean to me. And she wore glasses and braids, but she was light skinned, so she was approved. And they were just like, "Oh my God, Team Edward!" And I read it, and I was like, "I am immediately Team Jacob." And it was one of those things where middle school, school was not for me, you guys. Yeah, that's bad train of thought. Let's continue.
Portia's reading Donald Goines as a teen. Portia, I read Donald Goines when I was 19 in college, and I was so traumatized I didn't pick his book back up until you and I did that buddy read together last year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because that was, again, sheltered.
Oh, yeah.
You know. And when you're sheltered and then you read Donald Goines, I was like, oh my God, I was like traumatized. Yeah. So yeah, that's some heavy hitters for
like teenager. Yeah. I didn't read it because my mom didn't keep those books in the house, and if she did, I didn't know where she kept them. I still don't know where she would have kept them. But
I stumbled across it in the library at my community college. I was like, oh, it's a black author. Okay, let me read it.
Yeah, no, I was reading the books that I read. Crumbled. I was reading Beverly Jenkins at a very young age. That was the one that I got into because my mom loved Brenda Jackson, Beverly Jenkins, and Terry McMillan. We had all those books in the house. So
you was getting a whole education then.
Yeah, I didn't realize when I was reading it so much later. But
because I only heard about Beverly Jenkins like 3-4 years ago when I was watching this Netflix documentary on romance authors, and I was like, oh, let me find out who she is. And then I was instantly hooked.
Oh yeah, I know because when I became adult and moved out, my mom was like, oh great, you have your own house, let me give you all this junk I've been keeping. And so she sent me all of the books, and then I'm unpacking them, and I still have them on my shelf. I'm looking at them now. And she was like, these are your books. I was like, Ma, these are not my books. These are the books that you don't want anymore. And just say that. And she was like, no, these are your books. I was like, Ma, You telling me that you over here let me buy 32 candles when I'm 15? This ain't my book. you just shoving them off on me. Like, that's fine.
Like, mommy, admit it. They were yours, and you just want to put them in my house now
because you done with them.
You trying to clear stuff out. Nah, don't be trying to put that on
right.
me, player.
Like, I was out here buying Eric Jerome Dickey. For real? At 15? At 16? That's what you was letting me buy? Nah. Let's try again. But yeah, Ash Writes Lots was like, Twilight was an example of bad relationships and dependency. At its highest form. Okay, so we're not going to get into a rant about Twilight, but my very short opinion upon that is, you're absolutely right. And the way she did Jacob was absolutely disturbing, and she should be fired from writing for that. That's my opinion. Portia, I was 16 when I read Black Girl Lost, and yes, I'm also curious, what romance author documentary on Netflix, Audra?
I'm trying to find it. It's not on Netflix anymore. It was a while ago. I have to find it, y'all. I'll look for it while we keep talking. But
well,
it was,
if you're in the after chat, we could just drop you a link to it in the Discord server.
There we go.
I'm just throwing that out there. But of course you had Eric Jerome Dickey as a teen. Portia, what kind of life were you living, man?
What the hell didn't you have as a teen? I mean, damn. Really?
What kind of life are you living?
Really?
So that's interesting. Also, there are two other things that I saw that were just kind of wild in the Twitter sphere while we were taking a break from the Melanin Chat. The other one was it was actually from Publishers Weekly, I want to say. But publishers were asking Black authors to write more urban stories, because basically saying that the stories that they were writing were not Black enough. And it was kind of a wild read. I still actually have the link for it, so I will drop it in the chat if anybody wants to be messy on Twitter. But it was kind of wild. And it's just like, how can you look someone in the face and be like, oh, because you're Black, I need your story to be Blacker? Like, what even is that?
Start, Chelsea, because you're going to get my militant midget going. You know how we do.
I'm just saying, it's just, like, that's wild. Like, can you imagine? What? It caught me so off guard while I was just scrolling Twitter one day, and I was just like, these people are really saying, like, we need your book to be more urban. Like, what does that even mean? And it's like, all books written by Black authors are not urban fiction. So,
right.
What does that even mean? Like, It's a whole genre. That's like saying, telling someone who writes horror there needs to be more romance in your book. It is a completely different genre of book. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yep.
And
I found it. Did y'all want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, it is. Wait a minute. I think this is it. Love Between the Covers.
Okay.
Is the name of it. So I'm pretty sure that's it. And it was on. I just stumbled upon it. It was on Netflix for a while. I don't think it's on Netflix anymore, but I think you can find it on Vimeo. But that's where I first learned about Beverly Jenkins, because they interviewed her. Yeah, because it has Beverly Jenkins in it. Yep, it was Love Between the Covers, and it just talked about how the romance industry is like a $1 billion industry and all of that, and how the women got into it that are actually writing in it and all that kind of stuff. So it was really good.
Okay. I will have to check it out to see if it is still around. On a service that I pay for, because I'm not going to pay for another service currently. I
think Vimeo might have it. It says it's still on Vimeo. I think Vimeo is free.
Is it? I don't know. Don't get me the line. Don't get me the line. But Luthaza said, I'm not going to blame the publishers on this one. I know some folks really love them hot ghetto mess books. They love them, and we have to blame ourselves for some of these tastes. I wouldn't even say that. I would say that I'm gonna say I have to disagree. I do blame the publishers because it's like it's cool if you write the book and that's what you mean to write, you know, and if that's what you want to write. But also, it's like if I didn't write an urban book to tell any Black author, because when you read the article, basically she's talking about how people who are not writing urban fantasy are being told as Black authors to make their books more urban to appeal to a certain type of audience. And that's the thing that I can't get with. It's like if you're trying to be the next Eric Jerome Dickey, go for it. Write your book, baby doll. Do what you gonna do. But if that's not what you're aiming for, like I can only imagine me as a Black woman, like the book that I am currently writing, and being told to make it more urban. Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, and that's some audacity right there. Because if I said make a book more white people would be like, "What are you talking about?" Like, exactly. You see how stupid that sounds?
Yeah. So those books also be having no less than one sex scene per page. Last one I read, but about knocked me out because I couldn't tell when they weren't having sex. I'm dead. I'm done.
Right? I was trying to hold in my laughter with them.
I'm done. I was like, oh, they stopped.
Like, oh, okay, they're not having sex. Did they take a break to wash? Something to eat, perhaps?
Get some water, rehydrate.
Right? Get some chips, maybe a sandwich. And then let's continue. And wash. I need some washing. I need to see some shower scenes in these books with all this sex. I need it for my mental health. I need to see that y'all washed your ass at least once.
That would be nice.
And I can't assume that. I need to know.
It's like, I would like confirmation, please.
Right, because otherwise in my head, all I'm thinking, literally, I have done this with some of these books. I'm like, she's stinky though. He's stinky. They're stinky. Like, that's what goes through my head. Like, okay, yeah, they're stinky. I need somebody to wash just once. One time. I need a shower scene, please.
Just a little bit of
shower scene. Not a shower scene with sex. Then you dirty again. I need a shower scene. You washing off the funk of everything. Give me one.
And there we have it, folks.
Just saying.
That's how you become a successful romance author. Make sure they clean themselves.
One time. Just give me one. Just set the mood so I know that it's a part of their daily habit, and then we don't have to talk about it anymore. But I just need it one time, okay? Just once.
Portia Acts doesn't count if it's at the same time.
No! No!
Okay, you guys, this is drifting out of the PG-13 that I'm trying to keep this channel. So I'm going to need us to backtrack a little bit.
Backtracking.
Just a little bit.
Pulling the train back onto the track.
Yes. If y'all want to talk about that, that's an after chat discussion, all right?
Okay. And Portia's coming on the show, y'all.
Yes. On the Between the Reads podcast, y'all. That's what she means, to be specific.
That, my show.
Yeah.
My show, yeah.
It is a podcast, so you should definitely listen to it, you guys. It is really good. I can vouch for it, for sure. And we actually, before we started the show, we were celebrating because Audra has hit 2 years. So congrats to her. And I have hit 2 weeks. So there's that.
It's all the twos, baby. All the twos.
Yep.
Need some coffee. Can you tell?
Do you? Because you're already jittery.
Coffee calms me down. It has an opposite effect on me.
Okay. Fun fact. So I realized that when I quit coffee that I could have just went decaf. I'm a little slow on the pickup. All right. So I've been drinking decaf coffee, right? Because I just enjoy coffee in general, right? And
back in the coffee world.
Decaf only. I don't drink caffeine.
But still coffee.
Yeah.
You're back in the coffee
I
world?
didn't quit coffee because I didn't like it. I quit it because I didn't need the caffeine in my life.
Because it wasn't right. But you're back in the coffee. She's come back to the dark side.
Yeah. So I'll go get a decaf coffee from this place called the Human Bean. Every once in a while, right? Baby doll. We went and they messed up and they gave me regular coffee. And when I tell you I was talking so fast, I did not understand myself. And Ben stopped at a red light. And I was like, I looked at him and he looked at me. And I looked back at him and I was like, they gave me caffeine. He's like, yup. I was like, I'm not going to be able to stop. He was like, nope. And for the rest of the night, I was hardwired like the Energizer, but like, let's go do something. You want to go for a ride? And it's just, I was like, never again. And so now I'm the super annoying person. Whenever I go, I was like, it's decaf, right? You got that? It needs to be decaf.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we got it.
Otherwise, I'm gonna come back here and talk to y'all until the caffeine wears out.
And don't nobody want that. Don't nobody want that in their life. But there was something else that I saw that I want to talk to you guys about, but we are coming up on that like hour mark for the Melanin Chat, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here, especially since, if you guys don't know, if y'all haven't been watching the writing sprints, I'm actually leaving to drive to Texas tomorrow, so we have to make a 2-hour drive to my in-laws tonight to go drop off my doggy, and he left because Ben came back. But yeah, so lots to do. Anyway, you want to hang out with us? Join the Patreon after chat. $5 gets you in. You hang out with us. You're supporting the Melanin Library. You're supporting Black authors. All of that good jazz. And there are some other extra perks that I highly recommend you look into and sign up for because it's totally worth it. I mean, it's $5. It's not even a Happy Meal anymore with inflation. Okay? Just saying.
And you get to see me cut up because I have to be controlled in this.
Yeah, you really do want to see you really do want to join the after chat. You really, really do. But that being said, you guys, that is it for this episode.
There I go, there I go, there I go, there I go.
See?
Gee, baby, you are the soul who snaps my control.
Audra, let me do the outro. Let me do the outro. Okay? So, for those of you still watching, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box below. Follow me on Twitter and TikTok. I'm pretty funny, and I've been sharing things. Also, make sure you listen to the podcast. I release episodes on Wednesdays and Fridays. Also, check out the Between the Reads podcast because she releases episodes every week. I don't know how she do it, but that's what she be doing. So you should check that out. And also, subscribe, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We will be back here next week, same day, same time, to do this all again. We'll have new books for you, so come hang out with us. And that is it. That is the whole spiel. Thank you for being here, and until next time, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, guys.